We like to feel that we're vested with our franchisees. So, we're reinvesting in marketing, we're reinvesting in technologies, and we really want to be that wonderful business partner that sees that success when you see the success.
Welcome to Francoach's Franchising 101 podcast series. Here we talk about all things franchising. What is it all about? Is it for you? How do you find the best one to own? And so much more. Now your host, Tim Parmeter.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of the Francoach's Franchising 101 series. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of Francoach, and your Franchising 101 host. Today, we are excited to bring you the September edition of our Franchisor Spotlight. In the Franchisor Spotlight, we feature one of our franchise partners, and we're going to spend the next 30 minutes or so getting a chance to take a deep dive into what they are all about. This month, we are featuring a franchise that sits atop the very lucrative home service sector. What are some of the amazing benefits of the franchise we're going to visit with today? Well, they have a wide range of services which help gain new customers and create repeat business. They have a very low investment and overhead and fantastic franchisor support with marketing, hiring, and a technology platform, all there to help franchisees succeed. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, before we tell you that story, we of course have to tell you this story. Who is Francoach? Francoach is a national search firm dedicated to working with individuals interested in owning a franchise. We are partnered with well over 500 of the top franchisors in the country, spanning nearly 60 industries. Our goal is to help clients find the absolute best franchise for them to own. And our goal of the Franchising 101 series is to help educate people on all aspects of franchise ownership. So that is a bit about us, but we're not here to talk about us. We're here to talk about our guest and our spotlighted franchise today. So joining us today is Mr. Luke Schulte. Luke is the Executive Director of Franchise Development for our featured franchise, Handyman Connection. Luke, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, happy to be here.
And speaking of repeat customers, you're a repeat customer for all of our podcasters out there. Wonderful episode 60 was with Mr. Luke talking about home services in general as an industry. The reviews and the feedback on that were so overwhelming, Luke. We had to get you back and talk specifically about Handyman Connection. So we're glad to have you back, man.
Well, thank you. I don't know if that's if I should be flattered or if just the space is that demanding or intriguing. So
yeah, no, it was really and by overwhelming support and interest, it was really, I think it was your mom and your wife. And it was your wife was just like, "Can you get him away from me for 30 minutes? Please. Get him back on there." Yeah. So no, it's all good. But today is all about Handyman Connection, and we have a ton of questions about Handyman Connection, all the perks of becoming a franchise owner. But first, let's be really simple. Pretend like we are, I guess, customers. What are some of the services, products, things like that, for a potential customer?
Yeah, from a customer's perspective, it's really kind of the simple answer is anything that has to do with the inside or the outside of the house, we can help with. It's everything from changing out light bulbs to installing a new washer and dryer, patching that drywall, doing a reface on a kitchen or a bathroom, cleaning out gutters or putting new gutter guards on, you name it. We can really do pretty much anything around a house short of roofing or HVAC. So it's a wonderful business for both the business owner, but it's also a wonderful business for consumers that are out there because, frankly, just there's a lot of need for what we do. There's a lot of demand for people around a house. But, a lot of times people are missing that skill set, to get those things done around a house, and finding somebody that can work their way around a toolbox is becoming a commodity here for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So just hypothetically speaking, let's say somebody needed a couple TVs mounted
Sure.
Inside, outside. They wanted to maybe redo a closet kind of inside and a closet door, install a basketball hoop, and maybe have a little kind of grill installed outside. And I'm not saying that's me per se, but those would all be things. And can we talk about getting somebody to my house in middle of nowhere, Arizona? We'll discuss that offline. I got a long list.
Send me an address and I'll have a guy come over. So.
Yeah, perfect. So 'cause you're talking about lacking the skill. That is 100% me. And then it's also sometimes for people that can do it, or it's the time factor for sure. So
well, I mean, look at by the time you add kids and athletics and extracurriculars and all this other stuff, time's just the most precious thing that a household will have. And normally that's the thing that we're the most short of.
Yeah, absolutely. So tons of services, so we could see all the different potential customers and reasons why someone would be a customer. So let's talk a little bit about maybe just kind of the basics of the business model.
Yeah, so we have what we like to refer to as the 6 C's of brand experience. And, this is, I guess, kind of unique to us, but really it's true for any business that's out there, especially a service business. When we look at the 6 C's, the first C is cultivate. How do we find our people? Then I would argue, one of the most important C's is contact. Now that we've found a potential customer, how do we get in front of them? Then we need to confirm the estimate, commit and land that job, complete the work, and then connect back with that customer to figure out what else we can do. Because, what we've found in our business specifically, but I think in most businesses in general, is asking that all important question of what else can I do? Is there anything else I can help you with today? And when you list out all of that laundry list of things that we can do there, it's just amazing at how many times we can say yes, and simple little jobs that seem almost meaningless turn into some high ticket jobs for our franchisees. So it's really a matter of creating a system and following a system. And the 6 C's are that brand experience that we live by. This is how we can ensure that every customer is going to have a similar experience. Every customer will deliver more on what they expect because of the competition that's out there. This is how we can also ensure that all of our franchisees, we can raise all ships with the tide as long as we're all following this 6 C process that we have.
Excellent. So, and a couple of these in particular, I want to go into more detail on. Mm-hmm. The first one really is kind of the marketing, or as you guys call it, the cultivate, right? Because we can realize the need for these services, but how do we get in front of the people for those services? So talk a little bit about kind of that franchisor plan that you guys have in place from a marketing perspective.
Absolutely. So this is always the first question that people ask. How am I going to find customers? How's the phone going to ring? And what we have is a very comprehensive approach here. It's multifaceted. We're utilizing a lot of different sources here to find those customers. But one of the things I always love hearing from our franchisees is they'll say, "Oh, finding customers is the easy part." And I think our marketing teammates cringe because they know how hard they're working on the back end. But I think that's a true compliment to our franchise system. We know how to find those customers. We know how to roll out the marketing program just before the business gets launched. So we have, potential revenues coming in, right after that business has been opened. We're negotiating with vendors, like the Angie's List, the Home Advisor, all those different platforms that can be wonderful lead sources for us. We're going to them with the idea that, hey, you're getting Handyman Connection. You're not getting Jim's handyman business in Toledo, Ohio. This is Handyman Connection. And, we need to get better buying power. We need better value for what we're doing. And frankly, we can also rely on some of the reputation and a few of the other things that we've developed over the history of being a franchisor to help give better prices for our franchisees, better services, more opportunities to get out in front of those targeted customers. And I think that's another important thing to think about too, is we know very specifically who those decision makers are. For the most part, It's a college educated, married or engaged female between the ages of 27 and 65. And we know what zip codes they live in. So with the marketing activities that we take on as the franchisor, is we like to liken it to marketing with a laser as opposed to marketing with a shotgun. We don't want to hit everybody. We want to find that one customer and get out in front of them. So even if we're talking about direct mail pieces, or we're talking about pay-per-click marketing or search engine optimization, we know specifically who we're going after and we know how to get to them. One of the beauties of pay-per-click marketing is we can go after those specific demographic groups. If you look at your Facebook feed and you see every 4 or 5 postings that you see in that feed is something that's labeled as sponsored or ad, we can do that. We can show up on the first page of Google. We have some really wonderful systems that will allow a person to build a business larger and faster than what they would expect, especially if they were trying to do it on their own. So again, we're going to leverage everything that we're doing here, and even down to simple things like a wrapped vehicle. We have the artwork. We have all those things in place. You don't have to create any of these activities. We're really coming to you on a very regular basis and discussing the budget, the strategy, and the results. And then between what we're doing on our marketing team and the vendors that we have as preferred vendors here, we can really execute that budget and that plan without that franchisee being quite as hands-on in the marketing activities as what they would probably think.
Yeah, executing what is already in place, right? And then obviously you're going to want that owner to get out and about a little bit, kind of as that face of the business and make connections in the community. Like, who are they? Give us an example of kind of what that might look like.
I always love, one of my favorite marketing activities is go to Krispy Kreme donuts. Maybe that's a more Southern, but go get a box of donuts and show up at a real estate office. Drop off a box of donuts with a bunch of real estate professionals. And, those are targeted referral sources for you. Go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, go to a BNI group, be involved in your community, give back, be a coach for the local sporting goods. Get a banner put up in the outfields there. There are some things that you can do locally that don't take a tremendous amount of time or a tremendous amount of capital. But it is something that we do want you to be proud of your business. No one's going to represent your business like you will. I always laughed about it, when I'd go to get my hair cut, or I'd go to the grocery store and I'd have our logo on. Man, it'd be amazing. It's amazing how many times I get stopped. And they say,
amazing how often
you have a handyman business? And it's like, man, if I just shopped all day, I think I could build a business on my own. Yeah. But that's a different story. So,
but it is amazing. My kind of travel backpack, and as you know, I travel frequently between different states, and it has the Franchising 101 podcast logo on it, and I get somebody comments about it all the time. We were, my fiance and I were at dinner the other night, and we had somebody just kind of randomly came up, and the guy's like, "Oh, I've listened to that," which of course, as you well know, made my fiance cringe a little bit. Just like, oh, geez, here we go. But
here we go.
but it makes a huge difference. And I think the marketing aspects, why I brought that up, and I'm going to go self-promotion here for a second, but for our podcast listeners, episode 55, we talked specifically about being the face of the business. We had a marketing guru on a couple weeks back with episode 61 about just all the different things within marketing, because it sometimes feels like a scary 4-letter word. It's really not that bad, especially when you realize all the things the franchisor has in place. So that's getting leads and a lot of them and in a lot of different fashions. So now, why would somebody work with Handyman Connection as a consumer, and kind of how you're different from, Bob and his rusty pickup truck?
Yeah. I would challenge anybody that's listening, think about it from this perspective. When was the last time you needed something done around the house? You probably reached out to 6 people 3 of them actually returned your calls. Out of those 3 that returned your calls, 2 of them actually showed up to give you an estimate or to talk about what you wanted to have done. And out of that, probably only 1 person showed up with an actual estimate. So it's amazing. The name of the game here is speed to lead. We live in an Uberized and Amazonized world. If they want it done, they're thinking about it now. We need to strike while the iron's hot. And so that's where, I agree with you. The commit and complete, those are 2 of my favorite C's, just because this is one area in which we can shine. We tell every one of our franchisees, or whenever our craftsmen show up to a place, show up with your tool belt on. Go in assuming you're going to get the estimate, and go in assuming that if you have time to accomplish that job here today, let's go ahead and knock it out. So there are so many things that we're doing to create the right atmosphere for that decision-making process. When you call our local phone number for a franchisee, we're going to answer the phone. A live person's going to answer it. It's either going to be the local franchise or our call center. We're going to book an appointment. When that appointment's booked, we're going to send you out a text notification that says, hey, George Smith, your technician, will show up in this amount of time. Here's a picture of George. He's going to show up in a uniform with an ID. Here's the last date of our background check. You're going to have information and a structured window of time. So the expectations for professionalism are set right out of the gate. Beyond that, we have this wonderful customer management piece that will go along with it. That's cloud-based and app-driven. So where your craftsmen are. You also know where the customers are, and there's this very transparent, exchange that's happening through this. So as the franchisee, where everybody is. What the jobs are. Also, as the franchisee, we can track all this information. So we know, is that particular craftsman spending enough time in the home? What are their conversion numbers look like? Have any referrals come off of this? These are all things that are done with our system to ensure that business is getting executed and you're seeing the right returns on it. So the whole business has almost gone paperless. We've embraced the new world that we're doing. Everything's done via text and email, even down to, again, those estimates being delivered on the spot. As they're writing up the estimate, they click on a button and it shows up as a text message and as an email to that customer. So it's, again, speed to lead and delivering on the timelines that these customers are used to. I think that's something that really makes us stand out compared to other handyman businesses, or even any other, a lot of other home service businesses that are out there as well.
And it helps that the bar is so low.
Right? Yeah, right.
Certainly, and I'm not kidding. Probably half hour before we started this today, I was calling a local place to do a couple of these things because I live in the middle of flipping nowhere. So I'm a long ways from a Handyman Connection. Though let's talk about a trip charge for the one that's closest, right? But I am not kidding. I called, rang, went to a voicemail that had no name of the business, no name of the person, and then I got a message that says the message is full. I'm like, seriously, right? And then I think what's cool with what you guys do, it's a combination of, handyman, which is, I don't know, like one of the oldest industries ever, right? I'm sure somewhere back in the caveman days, we were hanging up something on the, a skin from, whatever we just killed that day to eat. But then you're taken into the newest age with the technology standpoint. And then again, you've got competition that's not even fair to call it competition, right?
So I mean, everybody's got a guy. And they may not know what the guy's last name is or what his cell phone number is, but that's who we're competing against, a dude with a pickup truck and a toolbox.
So let's talk about that, right? So we have to find the dude in the pickup truck, right? He's just in a nice wrap pickup truck with a nice uniform and an ID badge and background checked and trained and professional. But other than that, he is still in a truck, right? So, and in particular, 2021 world of, oh my gosh, labor. Talk about some of the things that the franchise is doing, what's on the franchisor to be able to find those craftsmen.
Yeah. So I think everybody thinks about the handyman business from the perspective of, oh, I'd love to do that. I like working with my hands. I like doing that. Really, the perspective that I would love for potential franchisees to have is I'm a business liaison. I'm a coach of sorts, if you will. I know how to operate in the business world, and I'm going to provide a service to these handymen. I don't know how to install that television or, to hang the basketball hoop, like we mentioned earlier. But I know how to run a business. I have an MBA. I have experience, and I want to build something for myself. And that's really the perspective that we need you to have. The craftsmen are out there. The craftsmen are looking for jobs. They're very good at, doing those handy activities, but they're not good at running the business. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have, again, just like finding customers, we're going to have the multifaceted approach to help find the right craftsman for you. And I think this is the most important question you could ask whenever you're looking at a franchise is, how am I going to find my people? The customers, sure, everybody's got a great plan for that. But like you mentioned, in today's day and age, we got to find those people to execute the work, unless you wanted to be that guy that does it yourself. And so we have a few platforms that we're using. We have this wonderful platform that we're utilizing to manage the applicant pool so that it will broadcast out all the different positions that we're looking to have filled. We'll help create the templates and the expectations and all that other stuff that you will broadcast onto the different platforms. But what I love about this particular platform is not only will it send the information out to Facebook, Indeed, Craigslist, wherever people are looking for employees, but it's also going to grade the candidates as they come in. So there will be a questionnaire that will be associated with each one of these job postings. And based off of the answers of that questionnaire, then you're going to see this is the compatibility score that you may have for that craftsman or for that technician. So it's a really wonderful piece because it manages the front end, but it also manages the back end, because as you go through and you do your background checks, as you do your interviews, as you do all those other things, it's going to, again, manage that stable of options for you. So you always know who. The question is more a matter of when. And that's where our coaches will step in to say, hey, you're getting to the revenue levels that we really need to think about adding another craftsman or another handyman to help you build your business to that next phase. Because really, the only thing that's keeping you from scaling with Handyman Connection is going to be how many technicians can we put on the road for you. The demand's there, the opportunity within a territory, all those things are there. It's just a matter of how many craftsmen do you have and how busy can we keep them? That's the question that we need to add. So that's what we do on the side of those craftsmen that are looking for that, for a role. Now, we also realize that there's a lot of craftsmen that are out there that are, school of hard knocks, trying to figure it out as they go along. And we've realized that we need to utilize social media to get out in front of them. So just like we market to our customers on, Facebook and LinkedIn, Pinterest, you name it, all the different social media platforms that are out there, we're also advertising for handymen in those regions as well. Hey, would you like to see better hours? Would you like to see more consistent paychecks? Would you like to have someone to help manage the business side of it? All of those things for these craftsmen that are maybe passively looking, we're going to get out in front of them as well. So think about that first platform that I described as the active participants, and then we're also catering to the passive people. And then we even have live recruiters that are going to work with us as well. We have a third-party live recruiter that a franchisee can use that will actually go through all of those first steps and come back to the franchisee and say, hey, I think these are 3 good candidates for you. So again, multifaceted, no stone unturned here, but we're really creating a value for both the customer and we're creating a value for the craftsman. And so it's just a matter of staying engaged here. And I always say the difference between a good franchisee and a great franchisee is a great franchisee is always in recruiting mode. They don't take much rest when it comes to that side of their business.
And as an avid listener of the Franchising 101 podcast, Luke, I know you're actually quoting an episode we did a couple weeks back. I think it's 58 on labor, and it's really and I steal the old. I think I'm way older than you, maybe, but like the old Glenn Ross movie, always be closing, and I changed it to always be hiring, right? And because you not having enough business is bad, but it's almost a dumber problem when you have the business and you can't get the people, but you just don't have the staff. And there's no reason for that because it's laziness, right? Quite frankly, I got my guys, I'm good. Well, what happens when you need more? Keep doing that, keep building that bench. And then I know you guys really coach your owners on this too, is take care of them, right? That doesn't necessarily mean monetary, but we've all had bad bosses. Don't be that person with it. Take good care of them. And for the most part, I think workers in general, but in this industry, these are people that they enjoy doing the work, right? Yeah. If you give them the work, you take good care of them, they'll stay with you for forever because that's what they want to get up every day to go do. So cool. No, and again, really combining the high tech cutting edge on every aspect of this with something as old as finding labor. So huge level of support. So we see the need in all the services provided by Handyman Connection. We see the marketing aspect. We see some of the differentiators. We see the recruiting side of things. That's a lot wrapped up into a franchise. So I'm going to guess based on that, the total investment for a franchise like this has got to be, I don't know, $7, $8, $9, $10 million, something. Yeah, what's
No.
Don't hang up, people. I promise I'm just kidding. Yeah. But talk to us a little bit about what that looks like investment wise.
Yeah, very simple investment, falls right under that sweet spot of, south of, right in that SBA express loan sort of category, if you will. So total investment for us is going to fall in that 99 to 150 round number range there. Obviously, we can quote the FDD and I can give you the exact numbers, but think about it from that perspective. Now, that number includes our franchise fee, that includes your tech fees, that includes all the operating capital that you'll need to get that business up and running. So I don't want it to ever feel that, with an opportunity like this, that you're ever writing a check, one singular check for that amount. That's really the capital that you'll need to get this business running and to the point to where, you're really starting to see, some great action. The business is starting to carry its own weight. That should be a round number range for that, and we're I'm very proud of some of the other fees that may come in. Our royalty rate, for example, is only 5%. We like to feel that we're vested with our franchisees. So, we're reinvesting in marketing, we're reinvesting in technologies, and we really want to be that wonderful business partner that sees that success when you see the success. So, I think it's a pretty nice, tidy package for what we do.
Absolutely, and all the folks that we work with always kind of make them understand that if a franchise is telling you how much it takes to get started day one and nothing else, we need to run the other direction, right? We need to understand, hey, we need 3 months, 6 months, something like that from an operating perspective. And all of that, I always just want a high level on the webinars, but again, there'll be an incredibly deep dive into, like Luke mentioned, the franchise disclosure document, which, oh my, that just in itself, but all things that will help with, and even at that point, as you get farther along with franchises, we'll talk revenue and things like that as well. So all good things there. So Luke, this has been awesome, buddy. And I know you're busy, so I'm going to fire one more at you and then I'll let you roll. But anything else that you would want us to know about Handyman Connection that maybe we haven't already talked about?
No, I think it seems like almost a painfully simple business, but that's because it is. There's no need to overcomplicate what we do. People have high expectations for their homes. We live in a great society that has spent a lot of time and effort, educating ourselves and bettering ourselves. And the one element of that society that has maybe been left aside is how to actually execute, these things around the house. So there's a huge demand for what we do, whether it's the baby boomers, whether it's the millennials, whether it's the whatever middle generation, we seem to be in that don't fit into those two boxes. But it's all about creating a positive experience that your friends, your family, your neighbors are going to all refer. Again, with that low bar, sure, that's out there. But I think with what we're doing as a franchisor to help our franchisees manage their reputation and stay constantly in front of our franchise, customers, it's really a wonderful business because it has this magical thing known as reoccurring revenue stream that's built into its model. Earn the customer's trust, and they're going to be a customer for life. So to have a business that has that, to have the opportunities, the ability to say, what else can we help with? I get really excited about this. So I'll apologize to anybody that wants to learn anything more. I'll get overly wound up about what we're doing here, but that's just because I truly think this is a very special opportunity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's again, we talk with our clients about finding the right fit. You're going to know it's the right fit, and hearing that in your voice with Handyman Connection again. No, it's the right fit, and your passion for home services, and then having being a part of such an amazing franchise opportunity like Handyman Connection, where oh my gosh, you can do pretty much dang near everything within home services. So that is awesome. Luke, really, thank you so much for joining us today and educating us all about Handyman Connection.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And for everybody listening, we hope this will help enlighten you on franchise ownership and to some of the amazing possibilities that are out there. If you would like to learn more about becoming a franchise owner for Handyman Connection or any of the 500 plus brands we are partnered with, then let's schedule a brief introductory call. You can find us online at francoach.net, also all over social media. For our podcast listeners, if you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow the Franchising 101 series wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Even check out our new podcast website, franchising101podcast.net. Send us a message. Let's talk. There's never any fee for our service. So we encourage you to take that first step today to help create your better tomorrow. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Stay safe, and we hope to connect very soon. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Francoach's Franchising 101 podcast, where our ultimate goal is to help educate you on all things franchising so you can create your better tomorrow.